Let's take a photo in the bathroom getting wet. Hey, Alto Key here. In this vlog, I thought I would talk about the meaning behind my brand new single, Sync, and if I had to summarize it in basically one sentence, it's a coming of age, kinda melancholy, lo-fi song, all about dealing with your anxieties and insecurities. But in this vlog in particular, I wanted to go into the detail of kind of what went into it, what my thoughts are behind the writing process, recording process, and give you a little bit more insight that you might not get from just listening to the song by itself. So in terms of the meaning of the song, you're gonna have your own interpretation and I'll have my own interpretation, I guess, but if you search for the lyrics online, you can search Alto Key Sync lyrics, I'm sure you'll find them on Genius. You'll see that essentially the main thing I wanted to capture with the song is change, and how do you deal with change and all the anxiety and insecurities you have around that. And we've been through a lot of changes the last couple of years, especially like with all this like pandemic stuff going on. But for me personally, with this particular thing, I was really scared about making changes to my musical style. I really loved the songs and things I did last year, but I felt like it was time for me to like expand, try different things. And that's scary because you never know if people are going to like what you're doing. So for me, I wanted to capture all those thoughts and feelings and insecurities and shove them into this song. If you read through the lyrics, you almost see there's kind of like two characters. There's like a main character and then there's like this character like holding them back. And for me, that's like my inner child, or kind of my like fears and anxieties, which are asking me to like, don't go, just stay comfortable, stay doing what you're doing. And the main character of the song, person singing is me, but I guess, but the main character is kind of like, I want to move on and I'm scared that I'm not enough doing what I'm doing. So I feel like this is something which a lot of people can resonate with, because change is scary, but also you often have a lot of people in your life, sometimes yourself, sometimes other people, saying you shouldn't try to do something different or weird because that's the norm. And I guess that was kind of like what I was really trying to capture this song. In terms of the recording process, as for most of my songs, I did most of it remotely, and the one thing I really wanted to capture in the recording of this versus songs last year is trying to be more real and honest and authentic. And we wanted the song not to sound too polished, and I really feel like there's a balance. You don't want the song to sound just poorly recorded and, you know, not high quality, but you also don't want it to sound over the top perfection, because that's not realistic either. So one thing I really wanted to try getting through in this recording process is, it's okay if we made little mistakes here and there, and it's okay if we had little like weird sounds on the track. And I really feel like they are what actually brought life to the track in terms of the recording process. In terms of the writing process, the longest thing I always struggle with is really perfecting the lyrics, and especially for this song, it's got small what are called vocal phrases, so like the actual lengths of how many words can you fit in a line. It's quite small, so you've really got to make your words count. You haven't got much space to kind of just add filler words and things like that. So that was one thing I definitely like. I think I finished like writing some of the basic parts of the song in like summer, and then it took like a good couple of months just really mulling over these lyrics and really trying to perfect them. I try not to get stuck too much writer's block, but for me, I'm so keen to get the right message through with the song, and that's what I really feel like we did manage to achieve, and really try to capture that anxiety and desperation around not being enough in the song. And yeah, I'm happy with how the writing went. If you're wondering how many people it takes to make a song like this, in terms of the core elements, I worked with Joseph Wanda to produce the song and Tom Waterman to master the song. So that's the actual song production stuff, but it's so much more than that. I ended up having to work with a PR company who then do a lot of the stuff in terms of pushing it out. And then you've got mystery camera lady behind the camera who helps film lots of this sort of stuff. So the reality is, even though it's like, I guess, one person writing the song, it probably takes about like 10 to 20 people to coordinate everything and get it all out there. If you ever want to know more about that kind of stuff, feel free to drop me a message on Instagram or just have some comments down below. If you're ever interested in releasing your own music, then I would always recommend, especially if you're new to this kind of thing, try to find a producer to work with, write your song, put a demo out in front of them and say, can you help make this song like better, and see where you go from there. But there's a lot of parts in terms of marketing the song as well, because it's good enough making the song, but you also need to make sure people hear it. And the last thing I thought I'd mention is the artwork, which I'll put up on screen now. You can kind of see it's basically just me in a bathtub with a shower going and getting myself wet. And essentially, it's kind of a mix of what was actually feasible and realistic given we're stuck in the flat during this pandemic, but also it was a mix of like what is raw and honest and what kind of fits the aesthetic of this song. I just felt like, because obviously the lyrics are sort of syncing and all that sort of stuff, it just felt like natural just to, let's take a photo in the bathroom getting wet. We just worked with an amazing designer called Katya KK Motion, and she helped bring that to life in terms of the promotional materials, which kind of like we took the bathtub and me in the bathtub and then just put it in like the middle of an ocean. And I think I'll do that for some of the other songs this year, is taking these kind of real human situations and then almost making them into like a wider concept than we even thought about. And speaking of the design, if you like the design, I'm gonna have some official merch out with it on, which I think is really, really cool. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed learning about my brand new single, Sync. If you've got any questions or other comments, make sure you drop them down below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and cannot wait for you to hear the song. See you later. Bye-bye.